CBS 6 News at 6 starts with a breaking news alert.
For the second time this year, a failure at Richmond's water treatment plant has led to a large portion of the River City being placed under a boil water advisory. Good evening. Thanks for joining us here at 6. I'm Janine Samuels.
And I'm Bill Fitzgerald. Our AJ Nwoko has an update on what we know right now, AJ, including just moments ago an expansion of that boil water advisory. AJ?
Yeah, the city, since the boil water advisory has been issued, has been urging the public to conserve water when possible to reduce the strain, and that's because more areas could be impacted. Have a boil water advisory issued on.
5 months after a water crisis halted water production in Richmond for nearly a week, a portion of the city is facing a boil water advisory due to technical issues discovered Tuesday morning at the Ginter water tank.
What's really different about this scenario than January is that in January, our pumps were fried and weren't actually producing water. That's not the case here, right? We're currently making 40 to 45 million gallons a day. So we're seeing consistent water production.
Even though the Ginter tank reservoir is filling, we're learning from Mayor Vula that its pressure hasn't been restored. This is because the filters at Ginter tanks have become clogged due to what the city is calling high turbidity in the system, the cause for which is still under investigation. A map has been released showing the areas most impacted, which must take immediate measures to conserve water.
There's ongoing work that needs to be done. We don't know the acute cause of the increased sedimentation here, and so after we get out of this recovery phase, then our eyes will turn towards, okay, what's the prevention-focused work that we need to be doing to ensure this doesn't happen.
As work is being done to restore full pressure at the Ginter water tank, the city says it will reach out to residents through the Richmond Ready Alert in the event of increased impacts.
We lived through this before, and we're going to live through it again. And this time we do have new and improved standard operating procedures, which, I saw go into action. Me and my colleagues in the community saw go into action this morning.
As the city works to restore power, or restore pressure rather, to the Ginter water tank, there does need to be 2 negative tests on that tank to be done in order to lift that boil water advisory. Now, continue to stay with us. We will continue to provide updates on how this boil water advisory continues to progress, as well as the tips that you need to stay safe. That'll do it for now. Live in Richmond, AJ Nwoko, CBS 6 News.
Thanks, AJ. We've reached out to neighboring counties to see how they've been impacted. Chesterfield, Henrico, and Hanover all tell us they are not under a boil advisory. They say their water remains safe to drink. Both Henrico and Chesterfield County temporarily disconnected from the city's water system, and they'll keep it that way until the issues are resolved. Hanover County is asking people to conserve water by turning off irrigation systems. All 3 counties say they are working closely with regional partners, as well as the Virginia Department of Health. Governor Youngkin released a statement this afternoon on X that reads in part, quote, "The State Office of Drinking Water is actively investigating the current water quality issue with the city of Richmond. I know this is a really challenging time for everyone following the winter's problem." Adding, "Our teams are providing technical support and ensuring that precautions are in place to protect public health."
And when Richmond's water system failed back in January, restaurant owners were among those hit the hardest, with some losing several $1,000s in revenue after being forced to shut down for days. Our Joy Fultz spoke to some of them about how the current advisory is impacting them and how the city is responding.
We were here in Carytown just after 12 p.m. as businesses were learning about the boil water advisory. We saw some signs posted that said they were only serving bottled water. Then we saw other signs posted by restaurants saying that they were closed for the evening. Just moments after Lolita's restaurant in Carytown opened for operations Tuesday morning.
I was like putting the sign out as we opened, and this lady came up to me on the street. She's like, "We're under boil water advisory again." And I was like, "What?" I thought she was making it up.
A message manager Michael Whitty found was unfortunately true. Richmond City issuing a boil water advisory to multiple Richmond neighborhoods at 11:30 a.m.
We're just making sure that everything is in place. We have all of our precautionary measures.
News of the advisory driving some restaurant owners and residents to the store.
We had to go out and buy some bottled water from Kroger. It was kind of a madhouse in there.
My son called me from work to say, Mom, they got another episode with the water, so don't drink the water, don't take a bath, and wash your hands, you know. I was like, let's go get some water. So I told my brother, put on something, let's go.
The advisory prompting others to completely close their doors.
I was coming down to have lunch at Can to meet a dear old friend who drove in from the Washington area to meet for lunch, and I looked at the door and found that there was a boiled water advisory.
Like several people CBS 6 spoke with, Whitty was surprised to learn the city was facing an issue with its water system after January's water crisis.
Businesses, households, families, it affects everybody. So for this to happen again relatively close to the last time it happened, it's a bit disappointing, and we need to figure out what's going on and maybe build a better system for our water.
And he says despite being prepared for this advisory because of the last water crisis, he is disappointed with the city's communication on exactly what businesses should do next.
A lot of the information that the city of Richmond has provided has been slim to none, and it's only available to people in households, where it leaves the businesses kind of like scratching their heads a little bit as what are we supposed to do? Richmond's a big city. It's growing a lot. If we're growing, we've got to keep up with that growth. So does our water system.
Mayor Avula addressed restaurants in a presser this afternoon. He says as long as they're following generic boil advisory guidelines, then they can remain open. And we have those guidelines posted on our website at WTVR.com. CBS 6 News, I'm Joy Foltz.
We will keep you updated on air and online as we learn more about the ongoing water issues.
And you might say water everywhere, or not a drop to drink, because there's so much out there.
It is a lot out there, and it's cool. You wouldn't even believe it's the end of May right now.
Yeah, if you had a rain barrel and you were collecting water, now would be a good time to tap into that. But it's not really falling very heavily right now. It's just been enough to keep everything just wet enough to maybe ruin some plans that you might have had outside.